Alright, so I'm here at rehearsal, and no, I'm not insane. I don't just call hanging out in a workshop rehearsal. I'm just trying to memorize my lines while they're working on something else in the other room. Oh, I'm sorry, am I? I didn't realize it. It's just, I was so used to wearing dresses for so long that it seemed that some mornings I wake up and I just forget. I should really just clear all the dresses out of my closet. Well, that's how my parents dressed me. They said they didn't know what sex I was, but I had to be one of the two, so they made a guess. They just guessed wrong. No, I don't believe so. I don't think they ever really looked. They didn't want to intrude. It was a kind of a politeness on their part. My mother is sort of delicate. My father rests a lot. When I was 11, I came across this medical book that had pictures in it, and I realized I looked more like a boy than a girl. But my mother had always wanted a girl or a bestseller, and I didn't want to disappoint her. Some days, I don't know. I don't know what gets into me. I would just feel like striking out at them. So I'd wait till she was having one of her crying fits, and I took the book to her. I was 12 now, and I said, "Have you ever seen this book? Are you totally insane? Why have you named me Daisy? Everyone has always said I was a boy. What's the matter with you?" She just kept crying, and she said something about Judith Cranston, something about being out of Shake and Bake Chicken. And then she said, "I want to die." And then she said, "Perhaps you're a boy." But we didn't want to jump to any hasty conclusions. So why don't we wait and see if I'd menstruated or not? I asked her what that word meant. She slapped me and washed my mouth out with soap. And then she apologized and hugged me, and then she washed her mouth out with soap. Then she tied me to the kitchen table, and turned on all the gas jets, and said it would just be a little while longer for the two of us. Then my father came home and turned off the gas jets and untied me. And then when he asked if dinner was ready, she just lay on the kitchen floor and wouldn't move. And then he said, "Well, I guess not," and sort of crouched next to the refrigerator and tried to read a book. I don't think he was really reading, though. He never turned any of the pages. And then eventually, since nothing else seemed to be happening, I just went to bed. I'm in college now, and I wrote this paper on Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels for 1.5 years. I keep trying to write it, but I have this terrible problem beginning it. I'm still on the first sentence. Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels is a biting, bitter work that... I keep getting stuck on the that. I threw all my dresses away. And I'm going to change my name from Daisy. I'm considering Frances or Hillary or Marion. They call and they cry and so on, and I just hold the receiver away from my ear. And then I go next to the refrigerator and crouch for several days. I'm not even sure I'm registered. It's not just the Jonathan Swift paper I owe. I owe a paper comparing a George Herbert poem with a Shakespeare sonnet. I owe a paper on characterization in the Canterbury Tales. And I owe an essay on the American character as seen in Henry James's Daisy Miller. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half crazy. I'm half crazy. I'm half sick of shallows, said the Lady of Shalott. Yes, I've learned a certain love of literature from my parents. My mother was a writer. She's the author of the Cliff Notes to Scruples and Princess Daisy. My father liked reading. Whenever he was next to the refrigerator, he would often read. I like reading. I have this eerie dream, though, sometimes, that I'm a baby in my crib, and somebody is reading to me from what I think is Mommy Dearest. And then this great big dog keeps snarling at me, and then a giant truck or a bus or something drops down from the sky, and it kills me. But then I always wake up. Doctor, I'm so depressed. I can hardly talk on the phone. It's like I can only function for 2 hours a day at maximum. I have this enormous desire to feel absolutely nothing. You know, when I do get up, I sleep with people obsessively. I'm always checking out people on the street to see who I can sleep with. It's just that during sex, there's always 10 or 20 seconds during which I forget who I am and where I am. And that's why I'm so obsessive. But it's ridiculous to spend hours and hours seeking sex just for those 10 or 20 seconds. I mean, no wonder I never get that paper on Gulliver's Travels done. I've been a freshman for 5 years now. I'm never going to graduate. At registration every fall, people just laugh at me. I mean, it's the inconsistency I hate them the most for. 1 minute they're cooing and cuddling and feeding me NyQuil, and the next minute they're turning on the gas jets or lying on the floor or threatening to step on my back. How dare they treat me like that? What's the matter with them? I didn't ask to be brought into the world. If they didn't know how to raise a child, they should have just gotten a dog or a kitten. They're more independent. Or a gerbil, but left me unborn. I passed this couple on the street yesterday. They had a 4-year-old walking between them. And the two parents, they were fighting, and you could just tell they were insane. I wanted to snatch the child from them and, I don't know, hurl it in front of a car. It was too late to save it, but at least it would have been dead. Look, I suppose my parents aren't actually evil. And maybe my plan to hire a hit person to kill them is going too far. They're not evil, they're just disturbed. They mean well, but meaning well is not enough. Doctor, I've been in therapy with you for 10 years. I've been a college freshman for 6 years and a college sophomore for 4 years. The national defense loan I have taken out to pay for this idiotic education is going to take me a lifetime to repay. I don't know. I just feel sort of, stuck. Oh, and I had another memory I'd forgotten. Something else my parents had done to me. It was during that period I stayed in the laundry pile. My mother had promised me I could have ice cream if I would just stand up for 10 minutes and not lay in the laundry. And then when I did stand up for 10 minutes, it turned out she had forgotten she was defrosting the refrigerator and the ice cream had melted. I mean, it was so typical of her. She had a college education. Who could forget they were defrosting the refrigerator? I mean, don't you just hate her?